Welcome to That's What She Said, where we'll spill the tea on women empowerment in the Great Lakes Bay region with your host, Christiana Malacara.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of That's What She Said with me, Christiana Malacara, where each week we spill the tea. And this week, I'm really excited. It's That's What She Said Day, which is my favorite day of the week. And on top of that, I have one of my favorite people in the room. As always, on That's What She Said Day, I go back and reflect. It's a good reset day for myself personally. And one of those things that I was reflecting on is stepping stone opportunities. And I kind of just threw that word opportunity out there so nonchalantly because when I was thinking about this, I was like, hey, this really was a time in my life where I was like, "Ugh, I don't want to do this or I feel stuck. And there's something where it's like needs to push me more, right? It didn't feel like an opportunity at the time. And for those of you who are listening, if this resonates with you, it could be as simple as, a job, a location, as simple as I'm in this meeting and I really don't want to be here. But you know what? This conversation is an opportunity. It's a stepping stone. And that really excited me once I pivoted that in my mind. Every stepping stone opportunity can lead you to the direction that you need to go. So just keep that in mind as you move forward with the rest of your week. And if that really does resonate with you, share. Let me know. You can find That's What She Said on WSGW 100.5 and 790, Facebook, in Facebook land, YouTube, and then Spotify 24/7. That's What She Said with Christiana Malacara. So let's pivot here a little bit, right? I have this really amazing woman, because is with me today. Heather Van Sumeran is in the room, and we are excited to have you here. Hi.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
When we first met, there was no doubt in my mind. I said, hey, she's pretty cool. And it's one of those things where our first initial conversations were stepping stones to a relationship, a friendship that has really blossomed.
Mhm.
And I'm excited to have this platform to be able to invite you on. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me, ma'am. And I second that absolutely. Meeting you not only shared some things about myself that I didn't really recognize. You pulled those things out of me, so I appreciate you so much for that. And also, I just feel like again, us floating in the young professional space, like we've been having a lot of fun together. So
we have, yeah, you have to have fun, right? Like whatever you're doing, you got to incorporate fun at some point. So, could you introduce yourself? How would the community know you?
Yeah. So, hey guys, I'm Heather Van Sumeran. I just got married this year. So some people know me as Heather Watson, but now I'm a Van Sumeran. So so pretty much how people may know me in the community. I have been in the nonprofit realm for the last 8-ish years, but nonprofit in different ways. So I actually started with an internship at the Great Lakes Bay Regional Alliance, along with that same time had an internship at the Great Lakes Bay Regional Convention and Visitors Bureau. So that kind of just kickstarted, me being really engaged in the Great Lakes Bay region in whatever capacity anybody was willing to take me in. So again, in those internships, learning a lot about our region and building that appreciation for it. Pivoting over, I actually received a full-time position at the Convention and Visitors Bureau. So that was really incredible for me, learning a lot about tourism and hospitality in the Great Lakes Bay region and beyond, just even in the state of Michigan. So maybe y'all have met me from there, but then we then pivoted to a different nonprofit scope, being at the Midland Business Alliance. So I was there for a couple years. And so there's more corporate space, but again, still nonprofit. And now I am really excited to share that for the last 4 months, I have been with with the CAN Council. So that's the Child Abuse and Neglect Council. So now more on the fundraising side of nonprofit land.
The fun. You put the fun in fundraising.
Yeah. And I'm the director of development and communications at the CAN Council. So that's where I kind of plug into their mission.
That's awesome. So a lot of that is scattered across the Great Lakes Bay region.
Yes.
Are you from this area?
I'm not. So I was born and raised in Southern California.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I know, like, honestly, if anybody from high school is listening, guys, I know it's my personality trait to say I'm from California, but seriously, I was born and raised in Southern California, and in the 5th grade moved to Michigan. My parents are originally from the Essexville Bay City area, so they are, they knew everything. They both went to Garber. And that's actually when I moved here, went to Hughes Elementary, Kramer Junior High, and then on to Garber. So yeah, I'm officially a Michigander, guys, though. I've been here for a minute.
You've been in Michigan half your life?
Yeah, more, a little bit over. Yep.
You're a Michigander.
I'm a Michigander. And honestly, through and through. And again, if you know me from, past experiences, I was always saying I actually wanted to move anywhere else than Michigan. I was a very, very sassy little girl. Did not want to leave my hometown state of California. But honestly, in all of these opportunities and talking about different stepping stones, all of my internships, all my previous job experiences have led me to appreciate not only our region more, but our state. So I am not going anywhere. I'm a tried and true Michigan gal. I am absolutely obsessed, and I'm obsessed with the Great Lakes Bay region.
So when you first got involved with the region as a young professional, what did that look like, and how old were you?
I would say, goodness gracious, I was probably 22, 23 at the time I started, maybe even 24, honestly. Maybe 24 is when I started to work on my internships. Funny enough, I actually went to school for speech and language pathology. So for any college students out there listening, guys, it's okay to change and pivot it to the extreme lengths. I did a lot of self-reflecting when I was going to school for speech and language pathology. When I took a test in high school, it told me I needed to be in the medical field and in human services. And so I just wore that like a badge of honor and was like, yeah, I'll figure out how to make that work. It wasn't me. And so I had a lot of people in college, kind of to ask, is this really what you want to be doing? And I deep down was like, no, I do not want to be doing this. So I pivoted over to Saginaw Valley State University for my degree in management. And that was, I would say, that was the first point where I completely pivoted my life, was being true me, and have been obsessed with my change to this day.
So this test that you're talking about, where it's like, what, 50 to 100 questions, you like this, you like that, between aggressively, fully, 100% agreed to disagree, right? So that test still exists.
Yes.
Okay. And for our listeners out there who are going through this test at any age, right? Why did you feel like, okay, I took this test, this computer, this system knows what I need to be doing, I'm going to stick to it? Like, what made you have that feeling?
Honestly, I feel like, and this is no shade to the school system or anything I was in, I was very blessed with my education, but I don't know if maybe I wasn't putting myself in the right places as a high school student to get some more experience on what I should be doing. And I don't know if necessarily our community maybe should come together more to show kiddos that there's more areas than just the top, in the medical field. You think doctor, nurse, PT, OT, SLP, if you want to hone it in a little bit to a private practice type. I personally wanted to work in the education system. So, what does that look like? And with my personality, what can I do? More shadowing opportunities maybe, but I didn't really have that. So when this test told me, go to, go into the medical field or go into human services, my brain was just trying to rack, what's the best way of doing that? And for me, again, with kiddos, but I didn't want to be a teacher. Someone was like, there's SLP. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll try that. And I had an amazing mentor during that period. But again, the whole time I was sitting there, I was like, is this really what I should be doing with my life?
And SLP is
speech and language pathology.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you were taking those courses, did you have a moment where you're like, this is it. This is good. I'm good here.
I was really excited. I had an incredible. I went to Central Michigan University to obtain my degree for speech and language pathology, and I had a really good group of gals that all lived on the same floor, and they're still very supportive in me to this day, even with the career shift. But I lived in what's called like the health profession residential college, and so honestly, again, this is terrible thinking, but I was so obsessed with my group of girls and we were just all thriving and studying together that even though in the back of my mind I was like, I don't want to do this, I was like, I just don't want to lose all of this. And then there's that pressure that if you switch, it's kind of embarrassing, which is not true. It is so not true. Like, honestly, do what's right for you. No one actually cares that much. And if they do, please ask them to get a life. But sorry, I'm just going to be honest with
I
y'all.
love that. I love that.
But seriously, so it was just all that embarrassment. And I felt like I was letting a lot of people down if I switched. I was a first generation college student. My parents didn't go to college. So I felt like I was letting my parents down if I was switching and not knowing what to do. I felt like, at that time you're trying to be an adult. So then you're sitting here and you're like, oh, I'm going to switch all of this, but that's not what the adult would do. The adult would know what to do. They would have this all figured out. And so just me having all of those thoughts at a very vulnerable state, it was not great. But I did have, again, a lot of mentors that shared, self-reflection and taking a moment to, look inward towards myself. And that's, and that was a multitude of people, friends, family, people in the different universities I've attended, they all supported me in different ways to kind of with that same outcome of please reflect on yourself. What makes Heather Heather?
Okay, so let's talk about that initial support. You're saying you had a group of gals in college and you're like, these are my girls. Like, this is my ride or die. We're studying together. We're living together. We're going out to dinner together, everything. How important is it for a college students to be able to gather a group, to make their own community?
I would say it's extremely important. And there's ways to do that, whether it's on campus or honestly looking into the community to find those connections as well. But again, starting at looking inward at yourself, what makes you tick? So for me, even though I was in a residential college, I really loved like supporting animals, animal advocacy. So I did take some time with the local Mount Pleasant Humane Society to do some volunteer work. And I did also meet some incredible people through that. I know you and I are a part of Young Professionals Networking Group. So any Northwood, Saginaw Valley State University, Davenport, Delta, any of the collegiate affiliates in our community, going to a young professionals group was just another way that I was able to build a bond with others.
Was that hard for you, or did you ever have an opportunity where you're like, oh, I'm too shy, I don't know if I want to do this?
I was terrified.
I
was so terrified. It's so scary going into this group that looks like they're so robust and they're so put together, and everyone there, they've got to know what they're doing. I don't know what I'm doing, but they know what they're doing.
Okay,
and you
so
just
then
have that.
Here's a question. Do we really know what we're doing?
No, we don't. Nobody does. Guys, I'm going to look straight into the camera. Ready? Guys, nobody knows what they're doing. Absolutely nobody. No matter what kind of front they put on, nobody knows in every area, every aspect of life. We are all just trying to live, have a good time, and figure things out as we go. It's all age ranges. So I pinky promise nobody knows what they're doing. But we're just going to have some fun with life.
Exactly.
And we live once. YOLO.
YOLO. Sounds like a millennial. Yep. YOLO. I love it. So, okay. So we're in this space where you are going through college, you have your group of friends, and you're like, I don't want to let anybody down, first gen college student. How and what was it that took you around that turn? It was like, nope, I can't do this anymore. Clocking out.
Honestly, it was easy. It was the school that let me know. I was not a 4.0 student. I was a B plus with my A's in there kind of student. So it was very hard to get into the next step of the speech and language pathology program. So I met with an advisor about that, and they were like, "Hey, you didn't meet the top 40." And mind you, there's like hundreds that go into this. So it's a really competitive thing. I should have done better research. But
I didn't realize it was so competitive.
It's so competitive. And honestly, shout out to all the speech and language pathologist gals out there doing that, because y'all are studying really hard and doing all the things to make that happen. So if you know a speech and language pathologist out there, go give them a pat on the back, because I personally, it was not for me.
Fun fact, when I was at Western Michigan, I took 2 classes in speech pathology.
Really?
And I thought it was so fascinating. And then I got a C. And I was like, okay, this is really interesting for somebody else.
Yes. Yes.
But I tried it,
Yeah.
and that was what it was. And,
Yep.
like I kind of just started out our segment was, it's those stepping stone opportunities.
Yep.
You're like, hey, this is really cool. I can learn from this, but maybe it's not for me.
Right.
So you were on this stepping stone.
Right, exactly. So I was told, hey, you didn't get in this time. You can try again next year. I did try another year. And then after that year, they were like, you didn't get in again. And I was just like, honestly, I am giving it my 110%, my undivided attention and love. It's just not meant to be. So that really forced me to do that reflecting. And they were very supportive in that. Just, hey, there was counselors, there was my professors, everybody was just like, we understand this is really hard, but look within. Is this really what you want to do?
What was the feedback from your family?
My family at first, I think they were worried because, again, I was a first generation college student. They had not gone through college themselves. So I think it was scary for them to see me go through this. And they didn't know how to necessarily approach it. So I will say a lot of this I did kind of keep away from my family. I am the eldest also of 3. So it's me, my sister, Ashley, and my brother, Jacob. And I didn't really want, because I took it almost as a failure because, again, I didn't get in 2 years in a row. So I just kind of wanted to protect my siblings from my failure and then my parents from, any embarrassment, which is, again, my family is incredible. That was just me being that age range, very vulnerable, very scared. So nowadays I vomit everything to them, and they're probably like, Heather, give it a rest, girl. Yeah. But anywho, that's essentially. I didn't really share much with my family on that one.
So let's talk about being the oldest in siblings.
Yup.
What does that look like?
Okay, I'll even take it a step further. The oldest female.
Okay.
We've got some responsibilities.
Yes. I'm in the same boat.
Okay.
We are in the same boat when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And my husband is the oldest male sibling. Oh. So we're both elder siblings. So yeah, our household is very no one on the radio station could hear that, but it's tight. It's tight. We have everything. Everything has a spreadsheet. Everything's figured out. But no, just from the elder female aspect, I mean, we kind of play the role as mom number 2, and nothing wrong with that. But it's just, as ladies, we just have a motherly nature to us, and we want to support and provide and, just give our younger siblings more than we had. And again, that's just a natural thing that we want to do. So I feel like, again, there's so much pressure that comes with that, which is self-inflicting. Nobody's giving that to us, but we just, feel the need to carry that like a badge of honor and just be there for our families as much as possible as that essentially third parent.
Yeah. Yeah. I can 100% relate to that. So I'll tell you, I'll just quickly share my perspective on that. Being the oldest, and then the oldest daughter, the oldest female in the family. And you could tell me if you relate. Is there a time where you're like, I have to do this right to prove that one, hey, look what I did, pay attention to me. Cause there's these little kids running around. Right. But then also it's like, let me pave this path. Did you ever have those types of moments?
I'm still having those moments as the oldest sister. Okay. I'm just like, I'm always trying to make waves, and I need to back off because my siblings are impeccable people. I'm obsessed with them. But there are some times where I do step in and I'm trying to just help them more than I probably should. But so siblings, if you're watching this, sorry guys, but I love you very much. Just want what's best for you.
Okay. So let's talk about, you changed your major and now you're in a different program.
Oh yeah.
Okay. That transition for you, was that exciting?
It was very exciting. I remember being so excited that I took one of those like first day of school pictures. I still have on my Instagram, but like I had the backpack on, I'm holding the straps. I had my dad come out in the yard and take the picture in front of the tree that everyone gets through. I was so excited. I was like, and a part of it was like, you know what, I'm doing this and I'm just going to let the world know that, okay, I did leave this sector and I'm entering a new one and I'm proud of it. And that was kind of like my way of healing through that scare. So in that really nerdy picture, that was my way of being like, I'm here and I'm proud and this is my new career path that I'm putting myself on. So, yeah.
Wow. I know exactly. I'm picturing it. I'm picturing your picture there. And so you're walking into this new, academic career.
Yep.
Okay. What did the support look like? Did you find yourself another group of, gal pals to get you through this portion?
Yes and no. It wasn't actually through. I was meeting different people along the way through different career opportunities. I worked in a daycare. And I actually made some really incredible friends through that. So I was shocked how little involved I got in on SVSU's campus, because I do like to be very involved. But I think it was just from going from CMU and not, getting into the program. I just really wanted to grind through SVSU. So I put my blinds on and just kind of dove into my studies.
How was that experience?
You know what? It was fine. It really, I have no, like, it was incredible or it was terrible. It was just, it's like any college student, just doing the grind. I had tons of support through many professors there. I had a lot of doors open from SVSU from going through the business management program. So yeah, I would say just an average, experience.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
When you pass along a piece of advice to a student who is thinking, I don't know if I'm on the right path,
Mm-hmm.
what would you say to them?
I would say definitely find the people that you either look up to or you admire in your life and ask them for coffee or just even a sidebar conversation and say, this is where I am. And again, no one knows what they're doing. We've all been in the same shoes at one point or another. So don't ever be nervous to ask someone this question. But just sitting with them and what would you do if you're in my shoes is one way to look at it. But also, even just taking a moment for yourself and saying, what makes me me. I actually did when I was having that moment of reflection, I would go to my friends and just say, humor me. When you think of Heather, what do you think of? And I was getting a trend or a pattern had started. And that's what really made me pivot a bit of just going, okay, that's who I am. Not that they're telling me, but it's just, I couldn't really find for myself who I was. So for them to kind of remind me of who I was, and then for me to take that and go, okay, so let's do business. And I started going into doing events, and that's where I sing. That's so I would say for those listening, find your people, ask them what makes you you, or ask for some advice, and take that into account as you try to find your way.
Did you ever do that yourself? Did you ever call someone? Well, nobody makes a phone call. Text. Did you ever text someone and say, I see you doing this. Can we have coffee?
Yeah, it was, I will say it was more family members at the time, because again, I didn't the connections and the community I'm in now, I definitely didn't have that then. But again, I would say it was picking up the phone and talking to, I know one person was my aunt. I looked up to her so much during college, and just the things that she's done with her life. And I know she'll be, again, very authentic with me and give it to me straight. So it was a lot of family more than community members or staff. But I know, again, if I had taken the time and not have had the weight on my shoulders that I forcefully put on myself, I know I could have gone to my professors or counselors or even my friends in my hall and had that conversation with them.
And I think a lot of times college students or students in general, they are like, I got this, until they completely lost it.
Mm-hmm.
And, colleges, universities, even, trade schools, high schools, they have this system in place, right? Where we have counselors, we have advisors,
Mm-hmm.
and it's okay to lean on them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I guess that's my little plug. It's okay to
Yes.
lean on that and
Yes.
utilize those resources because they're there for a reason.
Yes.
And as a first gen college student, one, awesome. Two, was that nerve-wracking in itself?
It was, but I just think when I graduated in 2014, so to give everybody who's listening a timeline there, I felt like everyone was told you had to go to college at that time. So like I knew it's just what everyone was doing. So I just knew I had to pick a place and pick a career, and I go and like I'm checking the boxes. And so I never felt forced, but I just felt like that's what you should do. So I felt like it was I don't know.
The order of things.
Yes.
You felt like it was the order of things.
Yes.
And you had to stay in line.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Wow. Well, that really opened my eyes. We are going to be right back shortly with Heather as we explore a little bit more of what makes the her and the you. So I'll be waiting for you when you come back to That's What She Said.
That's What She Said with Christiana Malacara is back. Now let's spill the tea.
And we are back to the second half of That's What She Said with me, Christiana Malacara. And we are going to dive right into this very juicy conversation. We have Heather here, Heather Van Sumeran. And I did it again, didn't I?
Van Sumeran. You got it, girl.
Sumeran.
It's okay. She's tricky.
Thank you. And Heather was just sharing about her college experiences, and, taking that pivot and having the courage to take that pivot and also having the courage to reach out. And a lot of that was based on being genuine to yourself and kind of tapping in to that inner little baby Heather and saying, what makes me happy?
Mhm.
Right. But you said you asked your friends to kind of say to you, who am I?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one, where did that idea come from? And two, that takes courage.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, think about it, Heather. Who knows what they could have said, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how you never know what someone says.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, I'm on the radio. You never know what someone says.
Yeah.
So where did that idea come from?
Honestly, couldn't tell you. Someone may have told me, given me the advice to do it, but honestly, I'm just a very blunt individual, so I'm pretty sure I was just so frustrated. I looked at people and I'm like, I don't know who I am anymore. Can you tell me? I'm just what are we doing? So that potentially is where that stirred from. Maybe I saw it on Pinterest. Who knows? I don't know.
Pinterest. And so who were the people you asked?
Again, just mainly a lot of friends. So I had asked a couple of work besties because I kind of wanted to get different perspectives of different people in my life. So my work besties, I had reached out to my very close friends that at the time, were like sisters to me. I had asked them. Had some guy friends that, again, from a male perspective, how do I portray myself and how would you, in a couple words, say that? I, at the time, was doing some rec league softball. So had asked my team, hey, you guys don't know me that well, but if you had to in a few words, what would that be? And again, it was wild, the array of words people were using to describe me, but they all had a pattern, and it was either outgoing, very a little bit of a leader, had very meticulous. That was one.
I can see that.
Yes. It's very organized, but also one that sticks with me was loves to create memories. And so that one just sticks with me to this day, and that's so true, and I can't believe I never saw that in myself, but I love to either create memories or help others create memories. And I've seen that actually ever since making that pivot, that truly has been the core of every step that I've taken in my career and even in my personal life, is how can I create memories either with someone or support them in creating memories for themselves. So
when you asked, these questions or this question to these people, do you see anything that is still a common thread, or do you think maybe if you did this exercise again, would it be completely different?
I think it would be completely different. I still think overly meticulous and organized is still going to be up there on the board, but I think some different words would be thrown in. And honestly, so this is actually it's all kind of rushing back to me right now as we talk through this. When I was at CMU, I was a part of the hall council type thing, and one practice we did to kind of work on, I guess, camaraderie. You stood with your back to a whiteboard and people wrote words around you of like when they think of you, or they drew a picture. Someone I know in mine, someone wrote a tiara because I'm bougie and I'm a queen bee and like whatever. So
That's appropriate.
yeah,
Still. Okay.
love it. Thank you. But I mean, they wrote all these words, but the thing is they took a picture and then they erased the board. And like a week later, or I don't remember the whole process, but that picture was sent to you to kind of like make your day. And you could see how everyone in Hall Council like perceived you. So now that I'm looking back, that may have been what convinced me to do that. But that's a beautiful exercise. I recommend, like, if you have a staff or just like a group that you're with, like that exercise, just like it brought me nothing but pure joy and a lot of realization in myself when I saw, I'm an overachiever, and it comes with being the first, the eldest daughter, the first kiddo. Like we feel like we need to be overachievers all the time. So that kind of like took weight off my shoulder to see like I am doing that, and I'm making people happy. I'm making people, or I'm building memories with them, and I'm creating joy in what I do with these people. So it alleviated a lot of stress.
With this definition of yourself that other people have given you and that you have for yourself, is there ever a time where you're like, you have doubt? Like you're not up to this standard that you've set for yourself?
All the time. And
Really?
again, I'm an overthinker. So I'm a Virgo. So
No, she didn't.
I did. Sorry. But I mean, I'm an overthinker, chronic overthinker. And so I doubt everything, more of just because I'm also a realist. So I'm very skeptical in everything that I do. So overthinking, realism, skepticism is always in my wheelhouse. But yeah, I doubt but not because I don't necessarily, it may not necessarily be because I doubt myself, but I'm like doubting whether that's the right move for me, because I do see this 10,000-foot view of where I want to be in 10 years, 20 years. And so I doubt whether or not something is the best move to make to get me to that point. So I'm very, now after a lot of love and support that I've been given over the years, I'm very sure of myself, but doubting this next step, that's always what's kind of scary for me.
Okay. My mind is racing. Didn't know you were Virgo. I'm a Gemini.
Oh, girl.
So here we go. This is what we're going to talk about. First of all, when you're looking at this definition and you're having this self-doubt, what do you do to kind of push yourself out of that hole?
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I sit back and close my eyes and I just go, I am worthy. I am great. I listen to songs that kind of emulate that, but I just kind of like, as I'm force feeding myself the scary, I'm also force feeding myself the good, and having positive affirmations and surrounding myself with positivity and reassurance. I will say, like, my number one for that is my husband, Gabe. So I mean, he sees it every day when I come home. I spiral a little bit, but he's just that person for me, and always has been for the last however many years. He's been one of my best friends.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would say, through him, but then also just, even if it's something as silly as downloading an app that gives you an affirmation. I did that for a while in college. I had like good thoughts on my background on my phone. I would put stickers all over my cups that had good affirmations on it. But again, just, as I'm hopelessly force feeding myself some not so great things, also for making sure I was doing 5 times that amount in positivity.
So when we're looking at who is Heather, do you ever look at and separate who is Heather and then what is Heather's purpose?
I think like subconsciously. I've never thought of it that way, but as soon as you said that, I'm like, I think I do. I have who I am, but where my purpose is in life. And I'm thinking of quite a few off the top of my head, but yeah, I am who I am, but I channel that differently for different scenarios and different people, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think I think
I think about that. That's what your conclusion was.
I think about that a little bit. Yeah, but I think that's what it came from, more of a subconscious, but I never thought of it that way until you brought that up. So I love that.
We'll circle back to that.
Yeah, we will.
Maybe in a couple months when you're done thinking about it and overthinking about it as a Virgo. So, when
now you have me thinking about that. We talked about self-doubt, how to get yourself out of that. We talked about putting affirmations in front of your face constantly. We talked about creating a circle for you, right? When it comes to growing your network and growing your community, especially like at a young age, how do we do that? And let's say we have a listener who's just like, I think I want to get to that level, but I don't know what the next step is. What is some advice you would pass to them?
So I know a lot of times we hear like find a mentor, and I don't disagree with that, but I will come out and say I've never had like someone who I can say was a consistent mentor for me. I've had people in different segments of my life for like that little blip, like gave me some good advice and I went to, and but there wasn't any consistency after that. So if you can find a mentor in the world that'll stick with you, I that's obviously like an amazing first step. And I will say too, on just to branch off that a little bit, a mentor doesn't necessarily have to be a person that's much older than you. I think that there's a bit of misconception. One of my recent mentors, actually, within the last few years, has been one of my dearest friends. So she's done a lot to kind of help direct me. She's only a few years older, but again, like we're just like the same person, and she's given me some really great direction and just again reminding me we all don't know what we're doing and it's okay, and just remember to be you. So yeah, sorry, that got me like thinking about her. I miss her so much. So what? Go back to the question again.
Okay, so we sometimes have this conversation about being genuine, genuine to yourself. I'm moving a little bit.
Okay.
So being genuine to yourself. What are things that you're doing to be genuine to yourself to fill your cup back up? Because your current job, your current position deals with some heavy stuff.
Very, yeah.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah. So again, it works for me, and this could work for others and might not work at all for others. But again, constantly putting positivity in my line of sight. It's as simple for me. If you know me, I'm obsessed with my German Shepherd. So I have pictures of her all over my office so that any angle I look, if I ever need to kick back and, oh, that's just frustrated me so much, I see her. Or I see, I have a sign that says I work hard so my dog can have a better life. Yes, I know I'm that dog mom. I'm also, the millennial is showing. I know I'm not doing well for myself right now. But anywho,
moving on.
But moving on. So again, just like force feeding myself that positivity in different ways. And I think that also stems from the people you surround yourself with. I know I keep talking about words of affirmation, but I know in like the last few years, I've done a lot of reevaluating who I surround myself with, and if that makes sense. And I know again, in my role, in many of my roles, I've been very outward facing and in the community. And a lot of times that's put you in a room with maybe some individuals that you don't necessarily align with, and that's okay. And still professionally handling that, I feel like I'm trying to figure out how to word this best. Sorry, just was silent. Okay,
that's okay.
I'm not even gonna go
there. Can you remind the listeners of what the company is and the organization is that you work for?
So Can Council is the Child Abuse and Neglect Council. So essentially through our four pillars, since actually we started as a prevention education in 1979, so we go way back. But through our four pillars, we help the kiddos in our communities that we serve, which is Bay, Huron, Aranac, and Saginaw counties. So our pillars are, again, prevention education. We have the Child Advocacy Center, so that's where the forensic interviews take place, and the services with the detectives and CPS, DHHS, too many H's.
Yep.
That's where that all funnels. We have what's brand new, the Rolling Family Resource Center. So she's out in the community doing great things. Sorry, Lionel, she's a she to me. Lionel's our director of the RFRC. Give him a shout out. And then also the CASA program. So that's the Court Appointed Special Advocate program. So all of that embodying CAN and all the good work that we do with our mission to free children from abuse and neglect.
So that's a lot of good work done by a lot of people, servicing a very big area.
Huge.
On a very heavy topic.
How
is it that you can go and shift from work, Heather to home Heather without bringing that home? Or do you bring that home?
I do. And that is something actually I'm currently trying to work on because, again, nonprofit work that I've done in the past has always been like the fun side, the tourism, the hospitality, the business engagement, the gatherings. It's always been on a lighthearted tone. So this is my very first time I'm ever really dove into a space where it's not so glitz and glam. And for me, with communication side that I do and doing all the marketing, there's a lot of dark data in that. And many of you in the community have maybe received our end of year ask letter. And if you're reading that, we actually talk about a case, pulling out all of the obvious details, but still being true to the case and what a child had gone through. And that's why we need the community's support to continue what we do. Because again, all our services are free to the families and the kids. So,
so how do you remove that weight to be the happy Heather you are?
Yeah. I think it's for me, I would say I have to talk it out. That's the beauty of the Can Council and everybody within its four walls is we all know what we all have seen and gone through or are having to submerge ourselves into. And so we have first off, our offices, please go get a tour of the Can Council office in Saginaw, guys. Everybody's offices are stunning. If you need some inspo to how to decorate your cubicle, these guys have it figured out. But seriously, I'll use Sharon's office, for example. Her favorite color is yellow. So it's nothing but yellow everywhere. And she just knows psychologically that that is a bit of sunshine in our lives. So she's got like these popsicle sticks with positive words of affirmation, and if she can sense that you're having a day, she'll slide you a popsicle that just says whether it's a biblical quote or just you are worthy and you are great or you are wonderful. We have others in their office. They have like these giant beanbag chairs that if you're just having a day, you can just crash into. And I can just say, oh my gosh, like XYZ happened to me today. And it's frustrating me. And we all take the time to care about each other's wellness. So again, going back to like the people you surround yourself with, we are one unit at Can, and we're here for each other always.
And we had Sharon on the show before,
yes.
and she talked about her office.
Yes.
And we had briefed on, how is it that you remove this?
Mm-hmm.
And she had said that when she's having a rough day, she leaves it there and then knows that she can come back to it. So it's like you're picking this back up where you left it. It's not going anywhere. Because she has to remove, we all do. We all have to remove that weight of our day.
Mm-hmm.
And we, especially those who are listening who don't have that time to get from, in that drive from work to home. Maybe work is home. Work is at home.
Mm-hmm.
Or, a stay-at-home mother. Work is your thing. Your mom is your job. Momming is your job.
Yep, exactly.
That's not always the case for some people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's really interesting that you're saying like community and space, right?
Yep.
So your own personal space, you have to almost tailor it.
You do.
To yourself.
Yeah.
So take us around. What does your office look like?
Well, crazy right now. So my office is a conference room right now, but we're moving.
I like
we're
that.
doing a lot. So our team at Can is growing like at an exponential rate. It's incredible, all the new faces that we're starting to see. But with that, so my office currently is in a conference room. It is being moved. And so what it will look like, I am a softball coach at the Dow High School. And so I've got a whole shelf dedicated to just photos of me and my girls and the other coaches. And so they've been giving me so many gifts over the last few years. So I just kind of have them all there on display because that brings me so much joy. And softball to me is an outlet and has always been an outlet for me growing up. So I had an injury, so I can't necessarily play anymore, but I can coach and be with these incredible young ladies. So that's a piece of my office. Again, going back to my dog, she has a lot of pictures,
a lot of wall
Ray.
space there.
Yes, and a lot of just things about my kids have paws, those silly signs. So I've got those everywhere, and then again, a lot of pictures of my core people. So I have pictures of me and my husband, family pictures of me and my friends out on like some of my favorite trips we've taken together. But again, anytime I can just look at an angle of my office, it just like gleams joy.
Okay, let's unpack the fact that you're a softball coach. So you have high school girls
Mm-hmm.
and they're playing softball, you're coaching softball. What does that look like as you as a leader in that atmosphere?
It's not too far off of what I normally do. It's just having a different lens, I guess, because these are young and again very vulnerable state. High school is scary.
High school scary.
High school girls are mean, and my girls are not. They're all angels, and I'm looking to all of you. I love you very much. But high school can be scary, and so to a lot of these girls, they're going through. I almost see myself in them a little bit. Again, talking back to that test I took that completely took me down a path I didn't think I should have gone down. So for them, for me as a leader, it's just giving them advice, whether it's on the field, off the field. We do a program called 7th Hour Softball. And so essentially what that is the school can, and I'm trying to say this best I can because Garber, we did not do this, but at Dow, they can allot for a 7th hour class. And so as a coach, we can actually have a class where our athletes come in, and how we run our 7th hour is we bring in members of the community. We try to gear it towards women because the girls can relate to other women, and they just talk about what it is in the community that they do. Sometimes we bring collegiate athletes, preferably against softball, and their coaches in to talk with the girls about what it means to be a team player, leadership, all that. So again, for me, it's just making sure my girls are better equipped for what comes after softball and what comes after high school, but channeling it through softball.
You're really creating ripples. Okay, how many girls are on a softball team? I was on the swim team of
Same.
one, essentially. Really?
Yeah, yeah. I also did swim. Yep, loved it.
Overachiever, 100% overachiever here, Heather. So how many girls do you have on the softball team?
So it varies, but I mean, it can be anywhere from the 9 you need on the field to, having your spares. So we can have up to 15. That's a tall order, but
that's a lot of personalities
a lot.
For a coach.
Yeah, it is. And that's, I mean, keeping in mind there's JV and varsity. So times that by 2.
Okay.
And then, Tom, love you, but we have a lot of girls on varsity.
So when it comes to working with students in that aspect, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at work, you're over here dealing with the children abuse and neglect, and then we're over here trying to push wisdom and athleticism into these girls. What is a powerful thread that you try to, imply on and, push towards them?
Again, I like to tell my girls, do what's best for you. And although we're in a team setting, keeping your team in mind, but you are you and you are your own person and you have your own life going on. So I know a lot of, I'll give one of my girls, she did equestrian. And that isn't during the same season of softball. And so that was really hard for her because her passion is equestrian, but she had so many friends that played softball. So for her, I just said, well, what in your life do you see sticking with you for a long time? And for her, she's like my horse. And I said, so I think that's your answer. Not that she needs to quit. I will happily have room for her on the field. But that was just, that's kind of, in that story, that's kind of what I, in a way, tell all my girls is softball is not everything. You have your own life. Be a team player, be good, be kind. When you see a girl down, please know to pick her up. If you don't have the tools or the knowledge on how to pick someone up, please come to me and I'll show you. But keeping all that in mind.
Let's go back to pick someone up. When you have this team of girls, what is one thing that you see that they're really good at?
Seriously, camaraderie. And I did not really experience that in high school for me for softball. It was very much, like there's your high talent and then there's your low talent and then everyone just is kind of floating. It does not matter your level of talent. These girls are all here for each other all the time. It brings me to tears. It is just incredible to see, if we're doing, we do mini games in practice. I like to have some fun. And we do this kind of exercise where you have to lay down the bunt no matter what, no matter where I throw it, no matter how crazy of a throw it is, you have to lay down the bunt. And for the most part, I do keep it in a good strike zone. But, there's some that, they go and technique was just not there and it is what it is. But the girls are sitting on the sidelines. They're like, great job, and then they'll even pull them and go, hey, next time you go in for that bunt, maybe try to angle this way. And I think that would help you. And I'm just sitting here like, y'all don't need me.
That amount of support.
Yeah. So that's what it is with my girls, is it's support.
So in one word, not support, can't use it.
Okay.
What is one word that you would pass along as far as women empowerment goes?
One word.
One word.
I'm gonna do 2. Unapologetically be you. That's 2. That's 3. But whatever. Unapologetically you. Be unapologetic.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing, Heather. I appreciate you and all of your wisdom. And ladies and gentlemen,
Be unapologetic, because that's what she said.